तो नेक्स्ट क्या है अपना द नर्वस सिस्टम. ओके, द ह्यूमन नर्वस सिस्टम. एंड द ह्यूमन नर्वस सिस्टम इज बेसिकली, जैसे देखो नाहिता ने कहा था स्टार्टिंग में कि दैट इट इज मेड अप ऑफ the central nervous system. So if we see that this is a brain, again this is the body parts or the system which is removed from the animal human body. तो ये क्या है, this is a brain, and from that this brain you can see that spinal cord is arising. ठीक है, and फिर ये spinal cord से देखो कुछ न्यूरॉन्स, कुछ भी जो नर्व फाइबर है that they are coming out, है ना. So the human nervous system is made up of two different system. The first one is called as CNS, है ना. So CNS stands for the what? Central Nervous System. Okay. And the nerve arising from the central nervous system, like these nerves, will form the peripheral nervous system. इतना क्लियर है. Central nervous system is made up of brain and the spinal cord. अगर आपको लिखना you can write, but I think so this is very basic point, so you should remember brain and the spinal cord. Spinal cord. And this peripheral nervous system is made up of the nerves arising from the central nervous system. So it is made up of nerves arising from the CNS. यहाँ तक clear है. And again I have kept this, all this are the real image. Okay, and now I think it's like you all are used to see all this image. ठीक है, तो ये क्या है, brain again, and ये क्या है, central nervous system. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
चलो, ये तो आपका बेसिक था कि डिवीजन ऑफ द सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम. नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे क्या है, दैट दिस नर्वस सिस्टम, ओके, this nervous system is made up of two, like this peripheral nervous system is made up of different neurons. ठीक है, मैं भी किसकी बात कर रहा हूँ, एक पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम जो होता है. तो जैसे मान लो कि सपोज दिस इज आवर स्किन विच हैज रिसेप्टर. सपोज यहाँ पर आपके स्किन पर किसी ने कुछ पिन पियर्स कर दिया, सो योर स्किन हैज दिस रिसेप्टर. ठीक है, तो ये फिर रिसेप्टर न्यूरॉन जो है विच इज कैरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन टुवर्ड्स द सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम. तो ये इसको मैं क्या बोलूंगा, आई कैन कॉल दिस एज अ afferent neuron or afferent nerve. ठीक है, so this afferent nerve is carrying the impulse or the signal from the sensory organ. So skin can be what? It can be the sensory organ. ठीक है, तो सेंसरी ऑर्गन के नीचे क्या होता है, ये अपने उसको क्या कह सकते हैं, सेंसरी न्यूरॉन होता है. सो दिस सेंसरी न्यूरॉन इज एक्चुअली कैरिंग इंपल्स फ्रॉम द सेंसरी नर्व टुवर्ड्स द सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम. फिर यहाँ पर क्या होता है, आफ्टर this information is being processed by specialized neuron of the central nervous system. फिर वहां से एक और nerve निकलता है. So the nerve which is sending signal from the CNS towards the effector muscles is called as what? Efferent neuron, which is because it is leaving the central nervous system. So that is why it is called as what? Efferent nerve or the neuron. ठीक है, efferent का मतलब क्या होता है, arriving. Okay, arriving, इसका मीनिंग क्या होता है, arriving. And efferent का मीनिंग क्या होगा, making exit. Okay, so as this is exiting from the central nervous system and going to the effector muscle is called as what? Efferent nerve. Okay, so basically this peripheral nervous system is made up of the afferent nerve and the efferent nerve. ठीक है, और फिर ये जो afferent nerve है, some of the afferent nerves are attached or linked with the sensory neuron which is present just beneath the sensory organ. ठीक है, यहाँ तक क्लियर है आपको सबको? the different components of the peripheral nervous system?
Yes sir.
ठीक है, और अपने को पता है कि सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम का कंपोनेंट्स क्या होता है, वो क्या होता है? स्पाइनल कॉर्ड एंड ब्रेन।
ब्रेन।
चलो फिर नेक्स्ट जो अपना है एक और आता है, फिर उसके बाद क्लासिफिकेशन आता है। एक कौन सा होता है ये? सोमैटिक न्यूरल सिस्टम। ये अगेन किसका क्लासिफिकेशन है? अपना पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम का। ठीक है, सो दिस इज टाइप ऑफ द पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम। एक कौन सा है? सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम, एंड दूसरा कौन सा है? ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम। ओके, सो दिस सोमैटिक न्यूरल सिस्टम, it relays impulse from the central nervous system to a skeletal muscle. Okay, ये आपको याद रखना है, because many time like during the exam student gets confused, तो ये इस पर आपको फोकस करना है। राइट नाउ आपको लगता है कि बहुत इजी है ये, पर आपको याद करना है। सो सोमैटिक न्यूरल सिस्टम जो होता है, this system which is a part of the peripheral nervous system, so this somatic nervous system, it relays information or impulse from the central nervous system to the skeletal muscle। मतलब कि जो कोई भी जो कुछ भी एक्शन होता है या फिर कुछ भी अपने को एक्टिविटी करनी है, जो वॉलंटरी एक्टिविटी है, सो इन सिंपल वर्ड्स मैं आपको यहाँ पे क्या बता सकता हूँ कि दिस सोमैटिक न्यूरल सिस्टम इज एसोसिएटेड विथ वॉलंटरी एक्टिविटीज। ये आप अपने नोटबुक में नोट डाउन कर सकते हो। ओके, सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम इज एसोसिएटेड विद द वॉलंटरी एक्टिविटी ऑफ द बॉडी। ठीक है, एंड रिलीज का मीनिंग क्या होता है? मतलब कि सिग्नल लेकर आएगा, फिर वहां सिग्नल लेकर जाता है। जैसे अभी आपने देखा ना ये इमेज, लास्ट वाला जो इमेज था, जिसमें कि इफेक्टर मसल जो है एक्ट करता है व्हेन इट रिसीव्स द सिग्नल फ्रॉम द सीएनएस, और सीएनएस का उसको भेजेगा सिग्नल व्हेन इट रिसीव्स द सिग्नल फ्रॉम द एफरेंट नर्व। ठीक है, इतना क्लियर है आपको सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम के बारे में?
सर
यस
सर, मतलब somatic and autonomic neural system are the subdivisions of peripheral.
पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम।
Okay sir.
ठीक है, तो ये आपको क्लियर है। सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम इज बेसिकली इट इज एसोसिएटेड विद द voluntary activity of our body, like reading, writing, playing, or doing any kind of physical activities which can be like controlled by our will is called as voluntary activity। तो ये कौन कंट्रोल करता है? सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम। सो पीएनएस का टाइप क्या हो गया? एक है सोमैटिक, दूसरा कौन सा है? ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम। बट पहले आपको बताओ ये क्लियर है सबको सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम के बारे में?
Yes sir.
चलो फिर नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे क्या है? द ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम। तो ऑटो का मतलब ही खुद देखो, ऑटो मतलब का मीनिंग क्या होता है? सेल्फ। सो इट रेगुलेट इटसेल्फ, लाइक इट इज नॉट इन आवर कंट्रोल। ओके, सो दिस टाइप ऑफ nervous system or this autonomic neural system is actually associated with involuntary activity। Involuntary activity like the breathing, like the digestion of food, the secretion of some kind of juice, like the juice, the pancreatic juice, like the opening and the closing of some involuntary sphincter। Like if you see here, anyone remember what is sphincter of Oddi?
Yes sir.
Okay, where it is present? Hmm? Exactly, it is present or it guards the opening of the duodenal papillae. So the opening and closing of that sphincter will be controlled by this autonomic nervous system। Okay, तो देखो यहाँ पे important point क्या दिया है? This autonomic nervous system transmits impulses from the central nervous system to the smooth muscles and to the involuntary organs, like the movement of the peristalsis movement of the alimentary canal। तो ये सब मूवमेंट जो है वो कौन कंट्रोल करता है? अपना ऑटोनॉमिक न्यूरल सिस्टम। इतना क्लियर है आपको? सोमैटिक न्यूरल सिस्टम एंड ऑटोनॉमिक न्यूरल सिस्टम।
Yes, sir.
अपने बॉडी में जितने सारे भी जो स्मूथ मसल्स है, which cannot be like, which are involuntary in nature, so those involuntary movements are actually controlled by this autonomic neural system. फिर नेक्स्ट जो है यहाँ पर, again we can divide the autonomic nervous system further into two different types. एक होता है sympathetic nervous system और एक कौन सा होता है? पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम। और एग्जाम में दे आस्क लॉट्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस सेक्शन, मतलब कि क्योंकि इसमें बहुत सारा कंफ्यूजन बच्चों को होता है कि मतलब सिंपैथेटिक में क्या होता है, पैरासिम्पैथेटिक में क्या होता है। ओके, सो लिसन केयरफुली। सो दिस ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स। एक कौन सा होता है? सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम, एंड सेकेंड वन इज व्हाट? द पैरासिम्पैथेटिक nervous system. Okay, so in simple words, if I tell you, this sympathetic nervous system activates our body. It activates or prepare our body, prepare our body for fight, flight or fright situation. Okay, so for all these three situations, sympathetic nervous system will prepare our body during this situation. ठीक है, कौन कौन सा सिचुएशन है? फाइट, फ्लाइट और फ्लाइट सिचुएशन में। So in this situation, this sympathetic nervous system will prepare our body by releasing specific chemical. So out of those chemicals, the name of one chemical is given, which is norepinephrine. Okay, ये कौन सा केमिकल है? Norepinephrine. There's one more chemical which is called as epinephrine. So epinephrine and norepinephrine together, it activates the sympathetic nervous system. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Yes. Okay. And if you want, then please you can again note down this flight, fight or flight situation. So during this situation, sympathetic nervous system activates our body. Okay.
So what does fight situation mean?
Fight, like for example, you are in a dangerous situation and you are not like and in that dangerous situation, suppose you have to fight. Okay, so during fighting, in your body, which system will be activated? Sympathetic nervous system. If you are trying to run from any situation, then flight situation will be activated. If you are watching some kind of horror movies, so during that situation, fight situations will be activated. I will tell you what happens during the sympathetic situation, sympathetic nervous system, that what are the different changes occurs inside our body. Okay, but you can note down these 3 points. This sympathetic nervous system activates our body during fight, flight and flight situation. Okay, so first of all, note down this. Yes, I am correct. This epinephrine and norepinephrine, which is also called as adrenaline and noradrenaline, is secreted by the adrenal medulla of the adrenal gland. Okay, ये जो chemical है ना, norepinephrine and epinephrine. So actually this chemical is released by the adrenal medulla. अगर आपको अभी लिखना है, you can also write this chemical is released by the adrenal medulla of the adrenal gland. And I hope आपको मालूम है कि ये adrenal medulla होता है क्या? This is the inner part of the adrenal gland. ठीक है, लिख लिया सबने? Because I have not mentioned this in the notes, so that is why I'm saying you can note down this. Then we will move ahead. Yes, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. चलो फिर देखते हैं यहाँ पे कि what are the different changes occurs during the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, just focus on this category first on the left side of the screen, then we will move to the right side. So suppose that you are in a danger situation. So during that situation, your pupils will dilate. Okay, you can see in this image the pupils got dilated. Okay, and I hope know what is pupil. Okay, so this pupil gets dilated, it gets widened up. Why? So that a person can sense the surrounding, the person can see the surrounding. So to receive proper visual clues, the pupil gets dilated. Okay, so this condition is called as what? Mydriasis, or simply what you can write, dilation of a pupil. डायलेशन ऑफ प्यूपिल. ठीक है, मतलब जब आप काफी ज्यादा एक्टिवेट होते हो तो क्या होगा, आपका जो प्यूपिल है वो काफी ज्यादा वाइड हो जाता है. ओके, एंड फॉर एग्जांपल if you are trying to show your anger, so during that condition also your pupil gets dilated, है ना. I hope you all know about you all are aware about this kind of situation. सबको ये पता है ना? Yes. So pupil dilation is one of the sign of the sympathetic nervous system. Second कौन सा होता है? Reduced saliva flow. Why? Because saliva secretion may distract your concentration, or like there is no need of the saliva, because during the danger situation you are not going to eat anything. Okay, so that is why the saliva secretion gets reduced. देखो ना, आपने कभी देखा होगा कि जब किसी को बहुत ज्यादा डर लगता है उसका गला सूख जाता है. So why he feels thirst, or why his like mouth gets dry? Because of the reduced saliva secretion. Yes, you all are getting this point. You all got the second point also.
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Third is what? The increased SV and HR. Okay. So in simple words, if I tell you, I will explain you detail when we will learn about the body fluids and circulation. But for now, what I can say you, this in simple words, the functioning of the heart increases. The heartbeat will increase, the stroke volume and all. So the functioning of the heart increases. Why? Because heart makes sure that our different parts, our skeletal muscle gets sufficient amount of oxygenated blood. Why? Because we all know that our body needs oxygen to produce the energy via aerobic respiration. So for all that things, a heartbeat or the functioning of the heart increased. Okay, ये होता है. And then vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction का meaning क्या आता है? Your blood vessels will constrict. Why? So that your blood pressure can increase. So to increase the blood pressure, your blood vessels will constrict. So vasoconstriction is also observed
during winters.
Yes, during sympathetic nervous system or during fight and flight situation. Reduced peristalsis and secretion of some kind of digestive juices. ये सब कम हो जाता है. Why? Because during the danger situation, you are not going to digest your food. Okay, what is main purpose? To save your body. Okay, just imagine कि how our brain has adapted to the different situation. If you are in danger, your body will switch to the different mode. ठीक है, तो अपने बॉडी का अगर मैं सिंपल वर्ड्स में बोलूं, we have two different modes. एक होता है sympathetic mode, एक कौन सा होता है? Parasympathetic mode. So sympathetic mode activates during the fight, flight and fight situation, and this parasympathetic mode activates during the calm period, like when you are sleeping, when you are eating something, when you are like in a peaceful mind. So during that situation, this parasympathetic nervous system gets activated. Okay. Next is this glycogen to glucose. We all know that glycogen is a stored food material inside an animal body, just like the starch in the plant. So in the same way, glycogen is a stored food material and which is mostly stored in the liver. Okay, so there will be breakdown of glycogen into the glucose, and this process is called as glycogenolysis. You all can note down this. During the sympathetic nervous system activation, glycogenolysis increases. Okay, so increase in the glycogen breakdown. Why glycogen is broken down? Because our body needs more glucose. And why more glucose? Because our body has to produce more ATP. Why more ATP? Because we are going to spend those ATPs for either for fighting, either for flighting, or for fighting. Okay, so that is why our body needs more ATP. Our body needs body heat. So for all these things, the stored glycogen is broken down into glucose. Okay, so during the sympathetic nervous system, glycogenolysis increases. Ye point likh lo because I have not mentioned in this PPT. So please note down this point also. Increase in the glycogenolysis. And what is glycogenolysis? It is a breakdown of glycogen into glucose to produce the more amount of energy. Okay.
So,
Hmm?
some psychological reasons can affect the parasympathetic nervous system in any way.
Yes. Psychological can also affect. Psychological, environmental, okay, that can also affect sympathetic as well as the parasympathetic. Okay, so we will.
Okay, sir.
But for now, ये आपने note कर लिया, this increased glycogenolysis because these are
Yes, sir.
yeah. So then we will see the next one. एक और यहाँ पे point दिया है, that is this epinephrine will also cause. So this epinephrine will also cause the this what we can call it like just a second. Inhibition of the bladder contraction. So if the bladder will not contract, then definitely you will not feel urge for urination. Okay, so urge for urination will also stop. Okay, urge for urination will also stop because your bladder will not contract. Okay, so these are the few changes, or these are the few evolutionary adaptation to save ourselves from the danger situation. ठीक है, और ये ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ humans में भी होता है. This is seen in the other mammals also, other animals also. ठीक है, सबको clear है यहाँ तक that what are the different changes occurs during the sympathetic nervous system activation?
Yes, sir.
Here and again, all these actions, like all these effects, are not in our control. That is why this is a part of the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so autonomic nervous system is categorized into two different systems based on its function or mode of function. Ek hai sympathetic and the second one is parasympathetic. So now we'll move to the next, that is a parasympathetic nervous system, and how it works.
Sir,
हाँ बताओ. Yes.
sir, मैंने ऐसे situations देखे हैं where the during an emergency allergic reaction कुछ लोग epinephrine injections लगवा देते हैं.
हाँ, because अगर जैसे मान लो कि किसी को एलर्जिक रिएक्शन हो गया और उस समय मतलब वो डिपेंड करता है कि जैसे मान लो कि देखो यहाँ पे if you see here, एक यहाँ पे दिया ना ब्रोंको कंस्ट्रिक्शन, मतलब योर ब्रोंक्यूल्स विल कंस्ट्रिक्ट. जैसे मान लो किसी को एस्थमा हो गया तो एस्थमा में क्या होता है, योर ब्रोंक्यूल्स विल कंस्ट्रिक्ट, है ना. तो जैसे अज्यूम करो कि these tubes are what, bronchioles, which is bifurcating, which is ending into the alveoli. तो एस्थमा में क्या होता है, the bronchioles may gets filled up with the mucus. So suppose कि यहाँ पे क्या है, this opening, this bronchiole is completely or almost completely blocked with the mucus. तो ये situation में just to dilate the bronchioles, what they will do, they will inject or they will take injection of the epinephrine. Why? So that the bronchioles will again they will dilate.
Okay, sir.
So for the dilation of the bronchioles, they can take epinephrine. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we will see this parasympathetic nervous system, which is activated by the ACH. ACH stands for what? Anyone knows the full form of this chemical or this neurotransmitter?
Acetylcholine.
Yes, tell me. Batao.
The acetylcholine.
Exactly, Swami.
Acetylcholine.
Yes, yes. Acetylcholine. Okay, so this acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter which is active during the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so never confuse between the ACH and the norepinephrine. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, or adrenaline, noradrenaline. So these are activated during the sympathetic nervous system, and these are active, and this ACH is activated during the parasympathetic nervous system. So again, if you see during this situation, so when this situation will activate, when your body is trying to slow down. So this sympathetic system will slow down your body. So slows down the body. Okay. So first एक symptoms क्या है यहाँ पे? Meiosis. Again, you should not confuse with the meiosis and mitosis. ये कौन सा term है? Meiosis. तो meiosis किसका reverse है? Mydriasis का. तो mydriasis में क्या हो रहा था? Pupil dilation. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Pupil constriction. Okay. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Pupil constriction. Okay, so you all can note down the meaning of this meiosis. Meiosis का meaning क्या होता है? Pupil constriction. ठीक है? तो ये सिचुएशन में मतलब ये आपका pupils कब constrict होगा? when you are feeling bored or when you are listening to a boring lecture or something like that. So during that boring situation क्या होता है? Your pupil gets constricted. Okay, so that is a first sign that you are feeling bored or you are going to sleep by the next half an hour or by the next 10 minutes. Okay, so parasympathetic nervous system क्या करता है? It will slows down your body. And first symptom क्या है यहाँ पे? Symptom नहीं कह सकते, but first indication is what? The pupil constriction. Okay, second is what? Stimulated saliva flow. And that is why it is advised to consume food in a quiet and calm place. That is why it is advised to consume food in a quiet and calm place. Why? Because if you are calm, if you are if you do not have any kind of stress, then your saliva secretion will be what? More. And that helps in the digestion of the food. And I do not think that I have to tell you the function of the saliva. Sabko pata hai. Okay, so saliva secretion will also increase. It will increase during the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. ठीक है? यहाँ तक clear है सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. फिर यहाँ पे देखो decreased heart rate. HR का मतलब क्या होता है? Heart rate. ठीक है, अगर आपको अभी लिखना है तो अभी भी आप लिख सकते हो, बट आपको मैं इसके बारे में बताऊंगा इन दी बॉडी फ्लूइड सर्कुलेशन. तो एसवी का मीनिंग क्या होता है? स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम कहते हैं इसको. एसवी का मीनिंग क्या होता है? स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम. ठीक है, और एचआर का मीनिंग क्या होगा? हार्ट रेट. मतलब हार्ट कितने फास्ट से बीट कर रहा है ऑल. एंड स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम का मीनिंग क्या होता है? द अमाउंट ऑफ ब्लड pumped by a blood in a single minute. ठीक है, तो ये सब क्या होता है कि जब हार्ट एक बार जब बीट करता है तो अगर स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम बढ़ेगा, इसका मीनिंग ये है कि द अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड गेटिंग सप्लाई टू द बॉडी आल्सो इंक्रीजेस. तो सिंपैथेटिक में ये बढ़ रहा था, बट पैरासिम्पैथेटिक में क्या हो रहा है? इट इज गेटिंग डिक्रीज. मतलब ये आपका जो हार्ट बीट है वो धीरे धीरे कम होते जाएगा. नॉट वेरी लेस, बट इट विल स्लाइटली स्लो डाउन सो दैट यू कैन काम. ठीक है, अब जिस किसी पर्सन को ब्लड प्रेशर का प्रॉब्लम होता है, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर का, उस समय वो पर्सन में एक सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है कि उनका हार्ट जो है ना, ये हार्ट रेट वो डिक्रीज नहीं होता है. So that is why that person like feels like that person cannot sleep properly. That person, sometimes that person has to take medication, sleep inducing pills, क्योंकि उनका हार्ट रेट डिक्रीज नहीं होता है. ठीक है, ये सबको समझ में आया? इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, और ये वेगल नर्व नहीं होता, ये होता है वेगस नर्व. ठीक है, वेगस नर्व होना चाहिए. सो एक्चुअली ये किसमें हेल्प करता है? डिक्रीज हार्ट रेट में, ब्रोंकियो कंस्ट्रक्शन में. मैंने आपको बताया कि ब्रोंको कंस्ट्रक्शन क्या होता है, कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द ब्रोंक्यूल्स. तो इससे क्या होगा कि आपका जो ब्रीदिंग रेट है वो धीरे धीरे कम होने लगेगा. देन यू विल फील स्लीपी, है ना. फिर एक और कौन सा? इट स्टिमुलेट्स पेरिस्टालसिस एंड सिक्रीशन ऑफ द गैस्ट्रिक जूसेस, एंड इट आल्सो स्टिमुलेट्स द बाइल रिलीज. सो दीज आर द few indication or few changes that occurs during the activation of the sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, Partvi, batao.
Sir, you said that parasympathetic tab activate hoga jab we feel sleepy and all and drowsy and sleepy. So how is it that decreased heart rate is not allowing us to sleep?
नहीं, एक्चुअली यहाँ पे क्या होता है, ये सिंपैथेटिक, ये जो है पैरासिम्पैथेटिक, व्हेन इट विल एक्टिवेट व्हेन यू आर काम, like you are not in a danger situation, you are in a safe condition. So during that situation, this system will activate, and this decrease in heart rate makes you sleepy. Why? Because if your heart rate is slowing down slightly, then your body becomes slowly less active, and then you will feel drowsy and then sleepy. Yes, Parth?
Okay, sir.
This was your
Yes,
doubt
sir.
ना?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. हाँ, तो फिर यहाँ पे एक और क्या होता है कि the bladder constriction will also occur. ठीक है, एक और क्या चेंज होगा? The bladder constriction. दिख रहा है आपको? एकदम लास्ट पॉइंट. ओके. So this bladder contraction will induce the micturition or urge for what? Urination. ठीक है, is it clear? एक यहाँ पे एक और दिया है कि bronchodilation not innervated. तो ये जो है ना कि bronchodilation, again this bronchodilation will cause what? It will cause the increase in the breathing rate and all. ठीक है, that is not innervated. मतलब कि ये जो है, जैसे मान लो कि जब आप बहुत ही ड्राउजी फील करते हो, देखो आपको कभी कभी yawning आती है. So why you feel yawning? So that our breathing rate will increase, our bronchioles will dilate. Okay, so overall ये जो था, like these are the changes that occurs due to sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. ठीक है, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
तो मुझे बताओ कि during which situation, what do you think, during which situation the oxytocin will release?
Sympathetic.
है ना, parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, that will cause the ejection of milk and or the ejection of semen. Okay, so sometimes they might ask you that when ejaculation or when ejection happens. So during the parasympathetic nervous system activation, that ejaculation or the ejection of milk can happen. ठीक है, अब देखो यहाँ पे और कुछ एक वर्ड दिया है, this blue color dot where they have written this sympathetic ganglia. So in this spinal cord there are region, okay, which controls certain activity of the sympathetic nervous system. So these regions are called as what? Sympathetic ganglia. Okay, and each ganglia has a different function. Okay, so they have not given the different names, but they have just given common name, that is sympathetic ganglia. तो ये क्या करता है? The different ganglias will control the different function. जैसे मान लो कि किसी पर्सन को इंजरी हो गई है ऑफ द लोअर स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, तो अगर मान लो कि वो इंजरी की में उसका ये नीचे का 2 गैंग्लियन जो है ना, दैट इज डैमेज, दैट इज नॉट फंक्शनिंग प्रॉपर्ली, तो वो पेशेंट को एक मतलब ये प्रॉब्लम क्या हो सकता है कि दैट their peristalsis will be not decreased even during the sympathetic nervous system activation. Their glycogen breakdown will not be very high because ये जो है these 2 sympathetic ganglia is not functioning properly. ठीक है, तो ये भी उसके अलावा बहुत सारे कॉम्प्लिकेशंस होते हैं, बट these are also associated complications. ठीक है, इतना क्लियर है सबको about the division of the autonomic nervous system and its subdivision, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. इतना क्लियर है? Any doubt? No?
नो सर, समझा।
So join again, फिर से आप लोग ज्वाइन कर लो because this meeting will end ना, then we will continue with the next part. ठीक है?
ओके सर।
चलो।